Okay, everyone, I'm back in the hood. Really excited to present today's live stream subject, which is how to track your calories. And today is a very special day to me, just because it's my anniversary, so it's my birthday, and I'm super excited because what a better way to immortalize your own birthday every 4 years than just to create a live stream for people to appreciate and maybe to use in their fitness routine, their nutritional goals, and in their life in general. So I am extremely enthusiastic about this, just because as you see, I put some makeup on with this occasion, so I think the conditions are perfect for me to just start presenting this topic. And in case you are going to join, feel free to do so, and feel free to ask all your questions in the chat. That's why it's a live stream. My aim is here to get to know you better, get to know your goals and motivations, see how I can help in the fitness and nutritional goals that you have. And so here we are. Thanks once again for joining. In case you are seeing this video in replay, well, I think it's a good thing to get through the topics that I'm going to present today, just because I saw in my case they were extremely useful. And today we are going to discuss about why tracking your calories matters. So let's dive in then. So during this session, I'll be explaining what is BMI, why you should be eating less processed foods. I will be presenting the pyramid of nutrition that I came to the conclusion of after years of eating myself. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to be in a caloric deficit or a surplus, depending your own goal. I see in today's society more people wanting to lose weight, so caloric deficit might be one of your fitness goals. And here we are. So let me give you the context, and this is what I'm always doing at the beginning of each session, in case you don't know who I am and in case you are interested to learn about who I am and why I'm speaking here to you. So I'm launching this third episode in a new podcast series that I'm creating, which is focusing on fitness, sports mindset, and nutritional advice that worked for my case. So people often tell me, well, Andrea, how comes you are in a great shape and you never feel tired? You are motivated to work, and actually the food that you're eating is not making you gain weight. So how are you doing? And I think I'm not doing anything special, but I thought about the routines that I put in place along the years, and I saw they worked in my case. And so the reason why I'm here today is to also assist you and give you some tips in case you feel you're not in the right place, to start acting in a manner that is going to become successful mid and long term. And unfortunately, I cannot give you like a weekly resolution of your goals, all of your goals, because some of the things that you might want to implement to improve your life might take more than one day or 1 week, right? So the aim here is to get you in a place where you are in a great mindset to want to change your life for the better. Because I did so with my own life, and I actually managed to arrive at a very good professional level in the sports that I did, either in tennis or tennis table or powerlifting or calisthenics. And so after 2022, when I won the silver medal at bench press for my category at a national powerlifting competition, after only 9 months of training, I think I got more excited about all this fitness initiative, and I started to focus more on approaches that enabled me not only to attain high level of a professional sport level, so that I reached the national competition, but I was also like super enthusiastic of wanting to continue that and apply my routine in any aspects of my life. So after I attended to this meet in 2022, I started doing street lifting and incorporating some skills in my training that gave me a lot of satisfaction. And it's not because I'm special, it's because I had a goal in my mind and I wanted to achieve it. And I took the incremental steps to do that as I was supposed to, right? So I wanted from myself to become more better in some areas. And one of them, of course, was ring muscle ups. And so in a couple of weeks, around 6 weeks, because I knew how to do a pull up, I started to work for a ring muscle up and actually was successful after 6 weeks. And if I was able to do that, I think you too. But depending on your background, you might spend more time or less time on that. So it's not the amount of time that takes you there, it's the fact that you're working towards achieving your goal that is going to give you a lot of satisfaction and motivation. Hence my interest in wanting to help my clients through these videos and everyone interested to work towards a good mindset, to put them in a place of success from the beginning, because it's not easy, and I see it's not always obvious for people how to motivate themselves to do things and how to keep themselves motivated. So for me, sports mindset is more important than anything else in a fitness routine, in a fitness journey itself. And that's why I'm creating these videos that cater to some of these needs that I see my clients have usually. And so last year I prepped for street lifting, and I did incremental steps. This is my submission for the final rep worldwide competition. I added weights incrementally to arrive at having good performances, and I was pretty satisfied with them. I didn't manage to get qualified among the first 10 participants in my category, but this was a great experience that helped me appreciate even more the value of being disciplined, of prepping and having a goal, and also the value of needing to eat more so that I can achieve those goals faster. So after all this experience, well, I started coaching different clients, and I created a page where I am having regular free calls with people who are interested in having a more physical activity driven life. And so very, very important when I talk to them about their own goals is to see if they are clear and if they are smart. So last week we had a session about exactly this topic, setting smart fitness goals. And I was very excited to talk about this subject because I see people having goals and having smart goals, sticking to their desires to achieve those goals even more. And so in case you didn't watch that video, it's on my YouTube channel, so please feel free to take a look at it afterwards. But what I saw is that having fitness goals in order to improve your life, it's not the only thing that matters. Because if one of your goals is more related to your weight, and one of your goals, let's say, is losing weight, sport alone or practicing regular exercise won't bring you there 100%. You not only need to, you cannot actually restructure your entire life around losing weight just by incorporating an hour or two of cardio per week. You will see progress, but that progress is going to be steeper and faster in case you start thinking about your improving your nutrition. right? So for me, improving nutrition is extremely important for a lot of reasons. And there are three things that people need to take care of if they want to improve their overall life. Not talking about professional or social life. We strictly talk about their healthy way of living. That is moving regularly, sleeping better and enough, and also eating better and healthier. And so today we are going to focus about this third subject, which is eating healthier. Because at the beginning of this live stream, I said that it's important to track your calories, and in order to do that, you just need to understand what is calorie tracking exactly. That's not very intuitive for people nowadays, and I feel like it deserves an explanation. So, calorie tracking typically involves keeping a record of the foods and drinks outside water that you consume throughout the day, along with their corresponding calorie content. Okay, this can be done through various methods, such as using mobile apps and websites, food journals, or even simple pen and paper to track your calories. And this may include monitoring, for example, portion sizes, estimating calorie expenditure through physical activity, and setting calorie intake goals based on your individual health objectives. So the aim of calorie tracking is to provide insights into your overall energy balance, and this will help you to make informed decisions about your diet and your lifestyle to achieve specific health and fitness goals, such as, for example, weight loss or even weight management, or improved nutritional balance. So once again, calorie tracking is very important in our modern society because we need it, and the reasons why will be explained in just a moment. So nowadays, calorie tracking is more crucial than it has ever been before, and it has become increasingly important because of several factors, among which the rise in obesity rates. So with the global increase in obesity rates, there's a greater need for individuals to monitor their calorie intake to manage their weight and prevent associated health issues. We want to preserve our health the longest. Yeah. So for that, we need to make sure that we are at a weight that won't make our lives difficult in the future. We are already getting older, and that's true. Every day adds to our calendar. Well, is a day where we become older, and it's normal. So the fact that we are getting older shouldn't actually make us unhealthier. We can have healthier food choices along the way, and that comes with just respecting one single golden rule, which is actually tracking your calories. So with the global increase in obesity rates, as you see, here is a graph that shows exactly the fact that almost all the countries, especially in the northern hemisphere, have a tendency of gaining weight. And as you can see from this graph, nearly half of Americans will be obese by 2030. And so these numbers continue to increase. And that's one of the reasons I think calorie tracking is important, because body weight increases with calorie intake. The more we eat, the more weight we will put on. And if we don't move and if we overeat, that's definitely something that will make us in the future gain weight. So increased awareness of the importance of nutrition and its impact on overall health is vital, especially because body weight tends to increase with calorie intake. And so if you are tracking your calories, you are going to be more aware of the number of calories that you are eating in the first place, and then you are going to be able to manage them easier. And so that's one of the reasons why, when I'm discussing with my clients who have goals of losing weight or maybe gaining weight, well, actually, I want to know the amount of calories that they are eating per day on average during a couple of weeks. And of course, almost no one, like I did it myself a couple of months to track my calories, and then it became more intuitive for me how many calories I was eating when I was not tracking them. But it was a long process. So the process of tracking calories is not very easy, and that's why almost no one does it, right? But people who do it, well, they show motivation in achieving their goal of losing weight, for example. How much do you want to lose weight? That's actually the question, right? Because if you say, I'm so motivated to lose weight, and then you don't want to put in the work of tracking your calories to see how much you're already eating, you'll always tend to eat in a way that is out of your control. And so we want to bring that control back to the people, right? Because when you're eating something, you don't know how many calories it has. But if you're tracking those calories regularly, you are definitely going to be more familiarized with the amount of calories that you're eating. So in my own programs, when people want to lose weight, I usually ask them to keep track of their caloric intake for 1 or 2 weeks without changing anything in their diet, without thinking about how much they are eating or how much they should be eating, okay? And then I get the numbers of an average daily calorie intake, and based on those numbers, actually we can adjust a bit the program so that we reduce the calorie intake in the case where we want to be in a deficit to lose weight, right? Because calories in, calories out. As gold in, gold out for data in general, well, calories in, calories out, it's exactly the same thing. You really want to make sure that you don't consume more, you don't eat more than you consume in terms of energy, because that's actually what starts the process of gaining weight. The body needs to store that weight somewhere. And so here, as you can see, there is a proportional positive correlation between the energy intake and the body weight. And it makes sense. It is a linear increase that shows that the more you eat calories, well, the more you will increase your body weight. And if you are in that situation where you, in addition to eating, you have a pretty sedentary lifestyle, well, that's actually the destructive combo that is going to ensure, unfortunately, that on mid and long term you will be constantly gaining weight. So you need to take action before it becomes too late, and that's why having a better life routine would be extremely important. That's why already in the first step, being aware that you need to track your calories is already the key to your success, because you are going to be more aware exactly of the fact that you're eating sometimes intuitively, or you're eating emotionally, or you're eating not for the right reasons. So calorie tracking is also important because we have more sedentary lifestyles. So many people now have more inactive lives due to desk jobs, long commutes, increased screen time, and this makes it easier to consume excess calories without burning them off, right? And even someone who eats normally for a person their age and weight and height, let's say, if they don't do any activity, at a certain point they will tend to lose to gain weight, unless they are eating in a caloric deficit. So yeah, it's better to be aware of the amount of caloric intake than not. Yeah, that's actually my own advice, and maybe it's not the one that you're waiting, but caloric intake is extremely important. As you said, as you observed, actually, there is a tendency in increased obesity rates and sedentary lifestyles. And here is just a graph that shows that about 1 in 4 Americans is physically inactive, according to a report created by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And so in the United States, that's the case in the United States, but that's not all, like everywhere is the case, unfortunately. Even in Europe, from where I come, approximately 25 to 40% of Europeans are considered physically inactive, meaning that they do not engage in sufficient physical activity for their health benefits. And so you see, like in main big regions, as we advance technologically, as we improve our quality of life, we tend to exercise less, we tend to move less, we tend to eat more, unfortunately. And so if calorie intake stays the same but physical activity diminishes, well, BMI increases. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you were used to being a person that was extremely active physically, and out of the sudden you are working at the desk 12 hours per day, you are moving less but you are eating the same amount of food as before when you are more active, well, that's the key to actually putting on weight. And if that's not your goal, which I assume that in the majority of the cases is not, well, actually your BMI will increase. Your body mass index will increase. But what is the BMI itself? Where it stands from body mass index and is a simple measure of body size that is based on height and weight, and that applies to adults and non-pregnant women. So BMI actually takes into account natural variations of the body shape, giving a healthy weight range for a particular height. And so in the healthcare, well, professionals may take other factors into account when assessing if you're having a healthy weight, but that index, this BMI, is actually taken into consideration. So in this photo, you can see that the BMI has values, and these values are being calculated based on your height and weight, sometimes your age, sometimes your race, depending on the degree of granularity of this entire calculation. And so you can be underweight and you can be morbidly obese based on your own situation when this number is being calculated. And I'm presenting this because this is one of the things that I am also calculating for my clients if they are interested in body recomposition or in losing weight or in gaining weight, as it was at some point my case. So this is a good indicator to see if the persons that I have in front of me, my clients, are in a good place or not with respect to their body mass index. And usually there are situations where people might be overweight and obese, and if this is the case, I am calculating the amount of pounds or kilograms that they need to lose in a particular amount of time, and we are working towards aiming that goal. But working towards aiming that goal through my fitness programs is not enough. We need to make sure that they also are aware of the necessity of changing a bit their nutritional lifestyle. And so that's where I am asking them to start tracking their calories. I am accompanying them through this process because I did it myself. And after I see a couple of weeks of data, we can take action into diminishing this caloric intake by eating healthier, by using all sorts of tips in order to get satiated in a better manner, right? So physical activity, as you see, is crucial for weight management. And there is a study here, and this is a photo that I put from that particular study, titled "Why Exercise by Itself is Often Ineffective for Weight Loss, but Crucial for Weight Management." And this study actually goes into the relationship between exercise, calorie intake and weight management in general. And as you can see, the horizontal axis concerns the physical activity level that can span from very low to very high. And you can observe that the more you increase this physical activity level, the more your BMI tends to drop. So the less fat you will have in the body. And on the opposite direction, the more you eat healthy foods, well, the better it is for your BMI to drop. And I'm going to explain that in just a moment, because this correlation, like this opposite negative correlation, applies when you take into consideration physical activity factors and healthy food choices. So your BMI is going to drop with the amount of activity that you're doing. The more activity you're doing, the better it is for your BMI, so the lower it will become. But your BMI is going to decrease at a faster rate if you are going to consider more healthy foods. And let me explain, because nowadays, as I said, calorie tracking is crucial because of high calorie convenience foods that are out there. So modern lifestyles, they often involve easy access to high calorie processed foods, which can lead to overconsumption without proper monitoring. So if you have something that is very calorie dense, you are going to eat that particular food faster, and you won't give the time to your body to get satiated, right? So you will feel like you need to eat more, but your body already is going to have its full tank of the amount of calories that it needs. Nevertheless, you won't be able to sense that. So because of high calorie convenience foods and food marketing that often promotes large portion sizes and calorie dense food, well, calorie tracking has become inevitable. And so here I'm showing you a graph that blew my mind, because actually it is indeed the case. Processed foods digest faster, they take up less stomach space, and they leave you feeling less satisfied for longer. So here you have an image with the same amount of calories on the right side and the left side, 1,450 calories, but you see how big of a difference in terms of volume is to eat something that is highly preprocessed, such as in the left side, than something that is not at all preprocessed and very healthy. And not to speak about the amount of volume that it takes. Like, it will take you 5 minutes to eat the thing in the left side, and 30 minutes to eat the thing on the right side, and you won't even have enough space, because I'm not sure how big of a meal you usually eat, but I think you could split the meal in the right side in 2 separate meals actually. So yeah, that's another example here. You have 1,870 calories in both foods, but the amount of volume is so different. Additionally, the amount of food in the right side has a lot of fiber. And so in the left side, we, with very processed foods, actually don't have any sort of fiber. So the reduced fiber content and altered texture of processed foods mean that they take up less physical space in the stomach themselves. So maybe you would eat 2 meals in one and have 3,600 calories. If you eat 2 hamburgers, 2 portions of fries, and a milkshake. Whereas with the portion on the right side, I feel like you couldn't even finish it. It would take too much time, and you won't have any sort of space in your stomach anymore. So yeah, that's another example. Here is another example to show the difference between caloric dense and nutrient dense foods. So not only the fact that the highly qualitative food that is of a plant origin, for example, is very good. It has a lot of fiber. It occupies more space in the stomach, but it is more nutrient dense. So despite consuming a similar volume of processed food compared to whole foods, individuals may experience diminished feelings of fullness and satiety in the left case, in the calorie dense foods. So it will not help their case. Like if you want to lose calories but you eat foods that are highly processed and don't take too much space in your stomach, you don't feel satiated for too long. And processed foods, as I said here, digest faster, they take up less stomach space and leave you feeling less satisfied for longer. And this is the last example here. Difference between a brownie, let's say, that has 520 calories and 6 grams of protein, as compared to planned ahead snacks. So if you are eating in between lunches, you'd better eat something like a fruit or a vegetable, nuts or something similar, because the same amount of calories might bring you more varied nutritional content, more proteins in this case, and will help you long term. So the fact that you're eating on the go very highly processed foods can lead to overeating or increased consumption of processed foods to achieve the same level of satisfaction, potentially contributing to weight gain and other health issues. Yeah. So tracking your calories is extremely important because, and I promise you guys, that's the last photo I have of this subject. So one serving of Christmas pudding of 100 grams is around 370 calories. You would need, if you ate that just because you wanted and you didn't need it, you would need 61 minutes of walking or 32 minutes of steady running to be able to take that serving out from your system. So you see why it is so important to make sure that you are aware when you're eating of what you're eating, because when you're aware of what you're eating, you might wonder yourself, hey, I made this effort of actually not eating so many calories throughout the month. Maybe I don't want to eat this serving of Christmas pudding right now, right? You would be more conscious of what you're putting in your mouth, and that's why it's maybe important for you to start tracking the calories yourself. Yeah, so here actually I would like to give you the answer of my initial question, which was why tracking calories matters. And there are a lot of reasons. I just gave you the ones that I found they're the most important for people who want to lose weight through a caloric deficit, which is the only form through which people can lose weight, in addition to exercising or in complement of exercising. And so one of the reasons is weight management. So weight management actually means that when you are tracking calories, this will allow you to monitor your energy intake, obviously, and this is crucial for achieving and maintaining the healthy weight. Whether you aim to lose or maintain or gain weight, understanding your calorie consumption is essential in this respect. This is, as I said, the only way in which you are accountable of the fact that, well, this is the amount of calories that I made. And guys, I promise you, it works. Like really, it works. Tracking your calories and making sure you diminish the amount that you're consuming actually is going midterm to cause you lose weight if that is your goal. Like that is proven, and it's over and over the case for everyone. So less calories consumed, more weight lost. Another reason for why tracking calories is important is awareness of portion sizes. So calorie tracking promotes awareness, exactly as I was saying, of these portion sizes, which helps you understand how much you're eating relative to your energy needs, and it actually prevents overeating or undereating. Nutritional balance is also important because monitoring your calories helps you make sure that your diet is more balanced. So initially, when I started tracking my calories, I saw I was very high in fats because I love fats, right? I was not eating enough carbohydrates. I was eating more fats than I should have, and I started working towards the goal of diminishing those fats, which helped. Okay, so nutritional balance encourages you to focus on consuming a variety of rich foods rather than relying solely on high calorie, low nutrient options. And that's also extremely important. And I think you should definitely take into consideration tracking your calories from this perspective. Nutritional balance. And lastly, accountability is also important because keeping track of calories holds you accountable for your food choices. You are going to start making better food choices along the way. Your health is the only thing that keeps you well, alive, and functioning. Why not investing into your health a bit more time, better choices, and a bit more awareness? Because your body should be your temple, as I say if you saw my videos on YouTube, and you should be treating it like it, right? So your body is the means through which you are able to function in the society, and so you should be giving it more respect. Okay, so accountability is also very important. Let's move on. So once again, from this presentation, if you keep in mind that it's important to count your calories because you are going to have a lot of benefits, well, that's all I need. Like, if you take this information out of this entire live stream, I'm very happy at the end of the day. And so let's resume. We are less active and we consume more calories in general, opting for calorie-dense foods. Calorie-dense foods which are maybe cheaper, more accessible, faster to eat, more convenient in all the ways. But this is going to actually inevitably trigger fat gain and to trigger this higher BMI that I just presented earlier. And higher BMI accelerates health problems. We don't want to have a higher BMI than normal. We don't want to be overweight. We don't want to be more than that. We want to have a normal weight for us human beings to be able to make sure that all our bodily functions are proper. And so monitoring calorie intake promotes also a balanced eating routine. And so you have all the reasons here why it is important for you to track and monitor the calories. Now, I promised you this nutritional pyramid that I came up with. Maybe there are some other people maybe emphasizing on it, but I am happy about this particular version of the nutritional pyramid because on the most important layer is the calorie intake. So no matter you are in a caloric deficit or a caloric surplus and you want to be the other way around, calorie intake is at the basis of this entire chain. If you want to lose weight, you need to be in a caloric deficit. If you want to gain weight, you need to be in a caloric surplus. And that's exactly the first step where you should stop in case your BMI is not in the normal intervals. Okay? The rest of it doesn't matter anymore. People who are overweight say to me, well, I think I should be eating healthier. I should be taking supplements. I should be eating more protein or less protein. it's not important, because you will still be at the same weight even with your focus on something that might be more interesting to you. At the end of the day, if you are overeating or if you are in a caloric surplus, well, actually you are going to contribute to losing to gaining weight mid and long term. And so this is exactly the same case for the caloric deficit for people who want to be in a caloric surplus. If you want to focus on healthy food, but you are still in a caloric deficit and you are underweight, well, actually, the pyramid won't be stable. Even though you respect the second layer, protein intake, you got this covered. Healthy food, you got this covered. Supplements, you got this covered. If the calorie intake is not in the right proportions for your particular case, it's not going to be sustainable. So that's why I really think that you should be focusing on nailing that calorie intake amount per day on average in your particular situation. And so let's talk about my own case. I was underweight and I needed to gain weight. Like, it wouldn't have helped me to eat all this healthy food that wouldn't provide me the necessary calories. So it wouldn't have helped me to eat more supplements or more proteins if I was in a caloric deficit. So what I needed to do at the beginning was to be in a caloric surplus so that I gain weight, so that I'm actually able to take care of all the extra layers in this nutritional pyramid. And so here I am in 2020. And after a year and 2 months or something like that, I gained 4 or 5, around 5 kilograms. And the difference might not be super obvious here, but what people can tell me and what I could tell is that I was feeling better in my body. I was feeling stronger. I gained weight, but in a way that actually consolidated in muscle mass. Right? So obviously, if you see my abs here, they were not so full. The muscles were not so big in comparison to this other side. So definitely I gained 5 kilograms of muscle mass. So I could say that I was at a higher weight. But actually I was feeling better. I was stronger, and I managed with the calorie intake aspect to start building the next layers of the pyramid in such a way that I was able to increase my protein intake and to be able to increase my muscle mass overall. So that's a great example, and that's one of the reasons why I started to advise other people, because this is the same in the other direction as well. You might you might have a deficit in proteins even though you are in a calorie surplus, because of the highly processed foods that only give you a lot of calories that are not of a good origin and that are not nutritional dense. They're just caloric dense. And so I came up with these tips to be in a calorie deficit that works in the same way. My tips applied on me being in a caloric surplus. Here is the opposite, where you want to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. And so I came up with 4 steps around this. The first one being to start actually deciding on tracking your calories and downloading an application that will help you in the entire process. The second step would be to record all your food and drink intake, including beverages without water, because they also have calories if it's not simple water. Then you would track everything you consume, and you would use a kitchen scale for accurate measurement. You might ask yourself, well, Andrea, that's taking a lot of time and a lot of energy, and I'm not sure if I'm doing it right, so maybe I shouldn't do it. No, I cannot emphasize enough how useful it is for you to track your calories and how easy it is nowadays to be able to track your calories. Not to mention the fact that if you're tracking your calories, you might be off by a couple of hundreds calories anyways. So even with this, it's a bit difficult to stay accurate, but without tracking. When you're eating on a hurry, in the bus, while watching TV, and everything is unconsciously done, right? So you should be more conscious about eating and about what you are consuming yourself in order to be aware of where you find yourself with respect to calorie intake. Do you eat the right amount? Do you eat more? Do you eat less? And that's a way to actually be in control of what you're eating and not the other way around. So let's start a bit with the first step. I'm just going to explain a bit the principles here. Like, I don't think the difficulty should be around how to track those calories, but more about the mindset of tracking those calories. So the first step that I'm recommending to my clients in order to track their calories is actually to download a calorie tracking app. And usually I used in the past MyFitnessPal, and that's what I'm recommending because I find that their user interface is very easy to use. And they also have a database where you can connect and actually better and faster input all the nutrients in a particular food based on their barcodes. And so I really recommend you start doing that right now in case you are interested in tracking your calories. Maybe you don't want to lose weight. Maybe you don't want to gain weight. You just are curious about the amount of calories that you're eating because you're already managing your weight. Well, you might do that also just because you covered the first layer of the pyramid, but are you covering the next ones? Do you eat the recommended amount of proteins? Do you eat healthy food? Is your food varied? Do you have everything you need in this process so that you are able to be healthier through healthier food choices? So in any ways, I would recommend and advise a calorie tracking app anyways, just because it's interesting to know our eating patterns and the type of food that we're consuming and to improve on that every time when we have the occasion. Like, at the end of the day, we want to be healthy, and we want to be healthy through better food choices and also through moving more. So that's where I'm also working with my clients in trying to set up a mindset that is going to help them mid and long term achieve their goals. The second step is being sure you are going to record all the food and the drinks that you are eating. Here I just gave an example. Initially, you should be sticking to your weekly routine to see the amount of calories that you're consuming. You won't change anything in your diet because working on multiple areas in the same time is going to be a bit difficult. So why not just focus on tracking the calories that you're eating throughout the day, throughout the week, and then see how you're doing, right? Like, how many calories on average per week are you eating? What is their quality? Is it good or not? Is it too high in fats or maybe in saturated fats, which it was in my case? How can we change that in the next stage? Like, this second stage is just about tracking all the calories you're eating and making sure you don't forget anything that you're eating except water, which you're drinking and is not like caloric. So yeah, in MyFitnessPal you have database where you can select, for example, the type of food that you are eating, and you can also do the same for, let's say, an average sized apple. They are going to give you an estimation, so you might just want to take that estimation instead of nothing. Like, I don't ask you to weight each vegetable in part and then see its type and then be extremely strong and strict about it, right? I'm just asking you to take an average of what you're eating, and that's exactly what we should be doing at this step, just making sure we don't forget to record anything in that journal, so that we have more accurate numbers at the end of the week. The third step is actually keeping track of everything you consume, excluding water. And that's actually almost equal to the first step, but I cannot emphasize it enough. Like, I have clients who tell me, well, I forgot today to track my calories. And of course, the average at the end of the week is going to be off. And yeah, so it should be a sort of a habituation to you, a daily routine that you need to do, where you actually are able to pay attention to everything you're eating and to become more conscious about that. So that's why I'm saying, I think that if I was able to do it, you are able to do it too. You just need a bit of patience, a bit more reflection time when you're eating something, just because you need to wait to track that information before you're consuming the product. And it is going to be a bit more difficult at the beginning. I get this, it was for me, but after a couple of weeks it became a routine. And successfully, I can say I was able to track 9 months every day without exception what I ate. And you would see some surprising things. Like, I would see how some French croissant was equal to like a super big salad with all sorts of things in it, and how I was not like satisfied with just a croissant, whereas with a salad I was not able to finish it anyways. So just once again, this is to say that you are going to discover interesting things, and maybe you would be actually interested in going deeper into the nutritional aspect. The disclaimer part is that I'm not a nutritionist myself, right? But I'm just sharing with you some of the experiences that helped me actually arrive at a normal body weight. And it works both ways. Like, whether you are in a caloric deficit or a caloric surplus, tracking your calories will help you. But you really need to track them seriously and not forget about them. Because the more you track them and the more serious you're tracking them, well, the more accurate you will be with respect to the information that you will receive. And the step number 4, we have 5 steps here in total. No, we have just 4, sorry, is getting a kitchen scale for accurate measurements. So in majority of the cases, if you're eating, for example, vegetables or legumes and you're not taking the food out of its plastic or out of its bag, you need to track those calories by weighing the products yourselves. And what I recommend is just to use a normal kitchen scale to ensure precise measurement, because different foods may vary significantly in calorie content, and their weight may vary significantly. So if you want to be accurate about the calorie intake, well, this is something that I'm advising people to get the application to track their food, make sure they are tracking everything they're eating except water, and to get a kitchen scale to make sure they are accurate in their measurements. And one should also examine nutritional information to align with their calorie intake and nutritional balance goals. So usually what you have for bread leaves, for example, loaves, what you have is you have a barcode on the back of the product, and you are able to scan that and get all the information according to the amount of grams of food that you're eating. And all that nutritional information is going to be recorded, and this is how you are going to see at the end of the day if your nutrition is varied or not. And so these applications that are tracking calories, actually they are able to scan the barcodes and take all the information from that particular product, and that is going to make your life easier. So this data here offers insights into the calorie content as well as the proportions of fats, carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, and minerals in a food item. And this was the tool that helped me the most to track my calories as I was supposed to. And in the moments where I was not eating too much vegetables or fruits, well, actually that was the main way through which I was counting my calories. But once I started to eat more vegetable and fruits, I started to use a kitchen scale, and I started to prep my meals as well, and to monitor the calorie amount within every ingredient that I was adding to that particular meal. Because people might ask, well, Andrea, you are saying count your calories, but if I am going to make my own soup, what about that? How do I track that? Well, if you're making a generic soup, you can take medium-sized portions and find them in the database. But if you're making your own food type, what I was doing is actually taking the kitchen scale and weighing each ingredient in part and inputting it into the meal that I was creating and dividing it by the number of portion sizes that I was going to eat. So it's possible. And if you're prepping your meal, you are going to do it only when you're prepping your meal. So it is going to take a bit of time in that direction, but it's still possible. So yeah, a bit of patience, a lot of determination, getting acquainted with the tool that you're using and their database, and not forgetting to track your calories is my advice. It might seem easy, I know it is not, but that's exactly what helped me gain some muscles during a year and 2 months time period. And I think that the quality of the food that we're eating is great, but it is great once we nailed this caloric intake. So, in conclusion, tracking calories is extremely important. It matters because it provides a quantitative measure of energy intake, which is crucial for managing weight, achieving fitness goals, and maintaining overall health. So, by actually monitoring calorie intake, individuals can better understand their eating habits. I'm just trying to summarize all the things that I said up to this point. They are going to be able to identify areas of improvement because we can always eat better, and they are able to make more informed decisions about portion sizes and food choices. And I cannot emphasize it enough. This awareness can help prevent overeating or undereating. They can promote weight loss or weight gain or maintenance, and they can support your efforts into achieving a balanced diet. So it's extremely, extremely important. To track your calories also provides accountability and makes you motivated on this process where you want to eat better, healthier, and enough for your own body needs. And just before closing, well, actually, for me, this nutritional pyramid that I created is extremely important. And so we want to make sure we got every level covered from bottom up, bottom being the most important and up being the least important in my view. So in this case, guys, if you're just starting your fitness journey and you want to eat better, you want to make sure you nail that caloric intake amount, well, please take into consideration the first and the most important layer in this pyramid, which is covering your caloric needs according to your own body and to your own goals. And once you got this covered, you can move on in the pyramid and eat healthier foods, improve on your diet, and attain your goals. Yeah, So that's it for today. Just wanted to share with you this information. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'm waiting for you next time when we will be discussing about why better done than perfect is something that I hold dear to me nowadays, and it changed my life once I brought it into my consciousness. So next time, next Thursday, we will be discussing about mindset and how to do things better than not at all.